From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big night of evenings LALATE with huge news as the labor number releases today, and they weren't particularly good. We have surged from 100,000, 200,000, 240, and today 251,000 new unemployment claims. We'll go over why the situation continues to entangle day after day, week after week. This is why you have to get a fourth stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. In today's recording, we're going to go over the big money that has happened, that big money that's available. We're going to go over where it is and why you got to get it. Approximately $100,000 in every U.S. state done by executive action from Joseph Biden in the month of March. Those huge stimulus checks are for you if you're on benefits, if you're not. If you're single, if you're young, how do you get them? You go under this video and become a member. And the second half of this video, we'll go over the latest details on that money as well. Yesterday, the series of numbers from the housing industry continued to unravel as well. And what happened? Well, not particularly good at all. This follows another week in which inflationary numbers continue to grow. But the good news is that your benefits are going up a lot. Why? Because of inflation. We'll have the latest details on the impact of that PPI, the CPI on you, and it could potentially give you an additional $5,000. We'll go over all these incredible sums of money later in this recording. $5,000 to raise your benefits approximately, big stimulus checks about $100,000, and the money in every U.S. state. Additionally, the Build Back Better Act. Plus, we'll be looking at the latest details of those numbers coming out today that signals inflation's underway and recession continues to grow. What's at issue? The latest details on the housing, the latest details on the recession, the latest details on the employment situation signal this economy is not improving, and we'll go over all those numbers tonight across the board. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, you need to get all these incredible sums of money, and we're going to go over each one of these checks in today's recording. Go under this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, and Calcino VIP. And in the second half of this video, we're going to get all these incredible sums of money you deserve. Those big sums of money are there. We're going to go over all that money, and it starts right here, right now, as Evenings LA, America's most watched show for financial news in prime time, gets underway. And good evening, everybody. The big number tonight, of course, is the labor number. It surged out of control. I'm going to go over that big number in today's recording. Plus, we have new indications on the recessionary front and also the latest details on the Build Back Better Act. Hope you have a beautiful evening. The labor numbers are the series of fallouts from this economy in the recent weeks. The unemployment numbers were 188,000, nearly less than 30 days ago. It surged to 200,000 at the time, and I said it's going to 230. It did. 3 consecutive weeks of 230, 230, and finally 235. 2 weeks ago, I said it's going to go to 240, and Wall Street will get spooked and stop saying it's a strong labor market. It did go to 240, but Wall Street still said it was a strong labor market. So what happened today for July 21, 2022? The numbers were released, and the numbers were 251,000. Yes, the highest labor numbers of unemployment since December of 2021. Those numbers are out of control. It's been a quick rise to the high of today from 180, that's days ago, 200, 240, and tonight, 251. Initial jobless claims ending the week of July 16th were released this morning for the Department of Labor, and they surged 7,000 from just last week at 240 to 251, the highest numbers since November of 2021. Continuing unemployment claims, which track a week late, are at 1.4 million tonight as well. In related news, the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index was released today as well, and that showed a drop, showing weakness on the job picture there as well. The employment index was 19.4, a 9-point drop, the lowest reading since May 2021. On the private sector, or the Fortune 500 sector, you can say it as well, we saw the layoffs continue. We saw them no less than a month ago with Coinbase and Tesla. Today we had Blockchain, a crypto startup, announcing 25% of their employees laid off, and in the United States that accounts for at least 26% of their entire workforce. This is the continuation of what's going on. And imagine what's going to happen when millions of Americans apply for that unemployment, get that first stimulus check for unemployment in just about a week from now, and look at it and say, what is this measly little thing? They're going to realize there's no unemployment from 2020 stimulus left around. FPUC gone, PUA gone, PEUC gone. So it's basic unemployment stimulus from the 1990s, and it's not particularly robust. And they're going to want a stimulus check. You don't wait for them. You get your stimulus check tonight. And tonight, we're going to go over all those incredible forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You qualify. About $100,000 of forced stimulus checks across the land, done by President Executive Action in the month of March. You get this money before these unemployment numbers grow and before more people come looking for more stimulus, because guess what? Their unemployment check is not going to cut it. It's not 2020 unemployment stimulus anymore. How do you get this incredible money? Stay the second half. Become a member. Go in this video. Join the channel. Stay the second half as we go over all these incredible checks one at a time. The federal stimulus done by executive action from Joseph Biden in every U.S. state. The data today continued after we saw horrible numbers on the housing market yesterday as well. The housing market was a series of 3 days of numbers, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and none of those numbers were strong. On Monday, it was a miss. On Tuesday, it was a miss. And on Wednesday, it was a miss as well. That number signals that the inflation is upon us and the recession is as well. What do we learn? Well, on July 18th, the home builders' confidence number fell dramatically. The National Association of Home Builders Wells Fargo Housing Market Index dropped by 12 points to 55. It's the second lowest drop in its 37-year history. The last time was that major of a drop was in early 2020. The day after July 19th, we had the new home starts, this new construction, and that fell 2% when Wall Street was looking for a 1.4% increase. And then yesterday, the June home sales fell 5.4% from just the month of May as mortgages made home buying unaffordable. The analysis came in from Lawrence Yun, chief economist for Realtors. It's clearly due to plunging affordability. We've never seen mortgage rates shoot up this fast in this magnitude. Everyone who wants to buy can't because they're being priced out. Mortgage applications, meantime, have dropped to a 22-year low because of the surging interest rates and the inflationary pressures. Joel Kahn said much the same. He is an economist for MBA. Purchase activity declined both in conventional and mortgage loans. And the number of homes on the market tonight is the largest we've seen in several days. Let's jump over to inflation. Jumping over to inflation, we have the Consumer Price Index number, the PPI, and also the retail sales number released days before that. This started last week. This is great news for your benefits. Yes, your benefits will be going up approximately $5,000. Let's go over how this works and what's at issue. Your benefits are going to go up a lot if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, and veterans benefits based upon what's going on with this inflation. We're looking at 3 months of data. And what's going on? Your benefits going up based upon CPI, PPI, and retail sales. First, let's go over the numbers that we saw last week, and then we'll go over how much your benefits are going up. Last Wednesday, the CPI was a beat. On Thursday, the PPI was a beat. And on Friday, the retail sales was a beat. A beat means that inflation was higher than expected. What does this do for your benefits? It raises your benefits up a lot. Let's do the calculation. As inflation tracks higher, your benefits go higher as well. Last Wednesday, we saw the Consumer Price Index number released for the month before, the month of June. And what had happened? Well, in the month of May, that number was only 8.6% only. And last Wednesday, we had the June number. It was 9.1%. Ouch. That's a major beat compared to the 8.8 projection across the board. But it's great news for your benefits going up a lot. Let's go more into those numbers, and then we'll go into how your benefits go up so much across the board. The consumer price index number gauges how much consumers are paying for goods at the stores, and that number surged out of control last Wednesday. 8.6 the month of May. June released last Wednesday, 9.1. The projection was supposed to be 8.8. Then on Thursday, July 14th, the producer price index number was released. It was the second highest recorded number on this channel, 11.3 from the near record of March of this year and 11.6. Then on Friday, the retail sales number was released. Let's go over why this number is important. It's not that you're buying more products in the stores. It's that the same product you bought the month before cost you more money to spend, to purchase. Retail sales is supposed to drop 0.9%, drop in that particular month. It rose 1% in the month of June. Collectively, it all shows inflation's going higher. And this is great news for your benefits. Let's go over how this works for your benefits. Your benefits are tied to something called COLA. COLA is COLA, cost of living adjustment. But it's determined by another number. It's called CPI-W. It's released every month as a subpart of the CPI, which we just saw. Well, that number surged out of control on last Wednesday. And we need to watch 2 more months. This month, 3 more months. This month, August and September. Because if the number stays where it is, it tracks higher, your benefits are going up a lot. Let's go over how this works. Your benefits go up based upon how much these numbers are going up. And wow, this could be a major part of the equation. Your benefits would go up based upon the July, August, and September number. It's you. First, who is it? It's you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, Social Security, which are the 3 months? There you go. July, August, and September. It's those 3 months that will determine how much your benefits go up, and it could be at least about $5,000. Let's do the calculation together, starting right now. The calculation is based upon that CPI-W, which is dependent upon 2 numbers, gasoline and supply chain. Well, that issue we're going to go to in just a second, but let's continue with the calculation. Would everyone's benefits go up automatically? Yes. Great news. Would they get the same percentage lift? Yes. Would it be you? Yes. If you're on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Social, and Railroad benefits, you don't have to do anything. It's absolutely incredible. How big is it? The largest lift of a generation. You're never going to see a lift like this during your lifetime. It's absolutely incredible. It's exactly what you wanted with SS200, SS300, this stimulus. It's happening. So we need to see 3 numbers. We need to see inflation tracks where it is right now. 3 more months or higher. July, released in August. August released in September, and September released in October. It's dependent on that inflation. But what is that inflation dependent upon? It's dependent upon 2 factors. Cost of goods, which is supply chain disruption, and gasoline. What do we know about those 2 fronts tonight? First, on the supply chain, we're seeing indication across several segments, across several different industries, that supply chain disruption of 2022, which caused the inflation in December of last year, is improving. Volvo corporate head yesterday said the semiconductor disruption, which caused car prices to surge dramatically, is nearly over. So some supply chain disruption is easy. How about gasoline? Gasoline is not particularly easing just yet. I'll go over more about the gasoline later in this recording. If gasoline doesn't ease, then you're in really good news. It would be about $5,000. It depends on how much your benefits are. But everyone gets that incredible raise across the board. So you see already tonight that inflation is not coming down, that employment is getting worse. Is Jay Powell celebrating? No, he's not. He's probably pulling out his hair. The Federal Reserve has a dual mandate. 2 items to do. Reduce inflation, get it under control, price stability, it's also called, and also maximum unemployment. Maximum employment. Maximum unemployment. Tonight is actually getting maximum unemployment. Tonight, the Federal Reserve is getting a spike in unemployment and no price stability. He's 0 for 2. The Federal Reserve is going to meet within days to reduce that FOMC raise. It's going to be 75 basis point, 100 basis point. But it doesn't impact you because your benefits are looking really good for that raise. Now, on that recessionary front, we need to know how that impacts your wallet. Over the last month, I've been detailing that the 3 phases is economy, and that second phase is just days away. That second phase is September. Well, what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday was one of the major U.S. banks said that the real heart of this recession is going to be felt in September. There you go. They believe that the hurt of the recession is going to be starting to be felt in September. Where do we see the recession as a family? We see it in the unemployment surging, and we also see it in the corporate earnings, which we're going to jump into right now. Why would you see it in employment? Because as businesses make less profits on the corporate side, they cut costs, they lay you off. In the private sector, the small business owners, they shutter their doors, they lose the business, and they lay you off, or they terminate you. So the corporate earnings released today signaled more problems on the recessionary front. Recessionary earnings among corporations were manifest today in a series of companies, even though some were not happening that way, they're still relatively strong. On both the top and the bottom. Top is revenue, bottom is net profit. Beat means it's better than estimates. Miss means it was lower than estimates. And in the money or coming right on the dollar is exactly what was expected. AT&T beat on the top and the bottom in corporate earnings released today, but it fell in pre-market trading, down 2%. Travelers rallied higher than nearly 4% in pre-market trading as it beat on the low on the bottom, but missed on the top. American Airlines and United Airlines had trouble today. Transportation had big trouble. American fell nearly 1.4% in pre-market trading as it basically came in on the money on both the top and the bottom, revenue and also earning and also profits. And then when you jump into United, it missed on top and bottom. Missed on top and bottom. The stock was down nearly 7% in pre-market trading. Carnival Cruises took a 12% pre-market trade fall as it announced a new stock offering. No guidance on there. The Federal Reserve and its pivot to a 75 or 100 basis point increase of that July FOMC meeting has really not much importance to you because both of them are austere. But it's going to be one of the two. Why do we know more about that today? Because the European Central Bank announced today a 50 basis point increase, which is the largest it's had in 11 years. The Governing Council governed the appropriate to take a larger step tonight across the board. This, my friends, is why you got to get that 4 stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. These 4 stimulus checks that are in every U.S. state are astronomical. You need them because we're currently in a recession. That recession was manifest in the numbers released 2 weeks ago for the Atlanta Fed GDP Now. The numbers are expected to be validated today by the Department of Labor, not released at the time of today's broadcast yet, for July 21. A recession commenced in the first part of this year and evidenced by the numbers through month 6, June. 2 negative quarters of GDP growth is what defines a recession. We're in a recession. The official announcement coming from the Department of Labor. This is why you have to get that 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state, because guess what? The value of your dollar is worth less in a recession, and this recession may not be a walk in the park. How to get those incredible checks? Let's go over those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, starting right now. Those incredible 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state were done by the President of the United States by executive action in the month of March, and they're huge. We're going to look at all those incredible checks in the second half of the video, but first, here's a preview. These incredible checks amount to approximately $100,000. Done by the federal government. It's federal stimulus, not state stimulus, not from your governor, not from your state. Done by the President of the United States by executive action in the month of March. A series of executive actions amounting to approximately $100,000 of 4 stimulus checks. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and rental benefits, go get it as well. How do you learn about it? It's coming up in the second half of this video. How do you get it? You become a member. Go right in this video, subscribe. Go right in this video, become a member. Then get those incredible checks across the land. It's a series of checks I've given a lettering system to A, B, and C. And we're going to go over all those incredible checks in the second half of this video. The data is very clear. The data is very clear that this U.S. economy is not doing particularly well. As the inflation continues to track higher, that's why you got to get this money. Financial cliff no less than a few weeks away, September, and you deserve this money. One of the great benefits of becoming a member, of course, is not only the newsletter, but what's in that newsletter. And also in that newsletter is those incredible worksheets. And they're working. One viewer sent me a beautiful message on Facebook, a Facebook Messenger yesterday, revealed she got 18 months of stimulus checks from this channel that week. Now, I'm going to go over her story in just a second, but first let's go over those worksheets, and then we'll see how she fits into this discussion. The worksheets are a series of pages combined as a PDF in the LATE newsletter. You go down on the first or fourth line of that newsletter, right under the price of gasoline today, and there it says, the worksheets. Click the link and you can open it up on your phone, print it out on a printer, or take notes on a separate piece of paper. The first page is about the economy. What do we learn about the economy today? What is the latest breaking news on this economy? First, on the inflationary front, hasn't gone down. No indication that inflation has yet peaked. With inflation continue to track higher based upon the CPI, PPI, and the retail sales released a week ago. On the recessionary front, number hasn't improved as well. Earnings recessions being manifest in some businesses before others, but the real heart of the recession will be felt next year. On the labor market, of course, that big news story today, 251,000 new jobless claims. Wall Street reacted accordingly. For the first time ever, they said the labor market has weakened. And then the Federal Reserve doing that interest rate spike in just a few days from now, 75 or 100 basis points. Okay, here we go. That second page of the worksheets, the most important, that incredible table. This is all created just by LALATE for you as members of this channel. This table has a place for you to keep track of the checks you applied for. In the second half of this video, I want to show you there's upwards of 12 to 20 different checks in every U.S. state for you to get, but you need to keep track of it. It takes time to keep track of it. It's easier with this table. One viewer wasn't looking at her table. She was taking notes of the table, but she forgot to look at it. Why? Because she got an email. The email said, oh, by the way, you applied for that Check B recently? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Congratulations, ma'am. You've been approved for 18 months. 18 months? She was shocked. First of all, she forgot she had applied for Check B. Second of all, she was shocked by the award. It's not unusual. This is what happens with the viewership of this channel. The viewer got 18 months of Check B coming up in the second half of this video. 18 months of her mortgage paid for. That's astronomical sums of money. She also got 18 months of her utilities paid for. Multiple utilities. That's why you want the worksheet. That's why her specifically should use the worksheet. Why? Because here's an example. Let's say the award she got of the 18 months starts from today and goes forward, and she hasn't gotten the water bill paid from January to July. We'll reach out to another organization, get that water bill paid from January to July because no one's paid for it yet. That's why you want the worksheet, because it keeps track of the periods you were paid for and how much money it was, so you can go remember to go get other sums of money. For her message from me to her tonight is go get those other sums of money. The next page is fifth stimulus. It gives you guidance on the incredible lift of your benefits, and that's why we're watching those 3 months of numbers. The CPI-W for July, August, and September. The next page is the gasoline, and here we have a lot of breaking news tonight. Remember, there's two factors that impact inflation going higher. Supply chain disruption, which causes price of goods to go higher, and of course, gasoline. The supply chain disruption is reportedly easing, but not across all industries and not proliferation. Volvo's head yesterday said he does not see a semiconductor supply chain disruption anymore for his business across the land. But for the gasoline, it becomes a very interesting story tonight. It started yesterday when your transportation secretary, Mayor Pete, appeared on broadcast media. He was asked about the energy policy. He was asked about the falling domestic unleaded price of gasoline. First, let me tell you where gasoline is tonight, because it's very important for your inflation. If gasoline continues to track higher, inflation will track higher as well. There are two numbers, and the second number is more important. The first number is the price of unleaded AAA national average, how much you're paying for the pump. That's the least important of the two numbers. The second one is the important one number. It's the international, including the United States, international price of Brent crude. This is what countries across the globe are paying for gasoline. That number determines the first number. What are the two numbers doing? One is going up, one is going down. Why? First, let me explain the two numbers. When Putin invaded Ukraine, the international price of Brent crude surged from about 100 to 110, went to 120 at its peak right after Memorial Day weekend. Tonight, it's about 108, 109. So it has come back. It went down to 99 about a week ago and surged up nearly half of all the way back to its height. The other side's going the other direction. The domestic unleaded has dropped dramatically. Now it's only 20 cents above where it was when Putin invaded. It had gone all the way up to 540. Putin invaded. It was at 420. Tonight it's at 450. So it's dropped a lot. What's going on? The oil traders all say they're trading up the gasoline. It's very speculative, very, very speculative, based upon what they believe you're going to do during a recession. Are you unemployed, that you drive less? It's all that confusing analysis which they don't agree upon. So what did Mayor Pete say yesterday? He said the price of gasoline is dropping in the United States because of the president's energy policy. It's not true. The president's energy policy is not trading down gasoline, the oil traders tell us. But why is that important? Because as ExxonMobil and other companies say that gasoline is likely to track higher in the next few weeks because this is a short-term reprieve, then guess what? There is no policy at play in the White House. And that means gasoline will track higher, inflation will track higher, and your benefits will track higher. That's why you have to stay with this channel, because this analysis is so important. What do we have tonight? We have inflation on not peaking. We have a recession currently underway, but the full extent of the hurt of the recession not yet felt. We have the housing market crumbling very quickly and dropping steadily, with some home builders being accused of really not pivoting quick enough. We have the labor market falling apart very, very quickly. And we have big money for you. Thank goodness. We have about $100,000 of forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state coming up in the big second half. We have the raise of your benefits, which could amount to about $5,000. You're going to need that, and that's going to happen if this gasoline continues to track higher. And we have the Build Back Better Act heating up the second half with a potential vote just days away. Very exciting news. Let's turn back to those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You qualify, you get them, you don't wait. Those incredible forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state are huge. Done by executive action of Joseph Biden in the month of March, they're for you. They're from the federal government. It's federal stimulus. It's a series of checks. You go get them. Approximately $100,000. Several checks. We're going to go over each of them in the second half of this video. You qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, go get it. Viewers of this channel have been getting it since March. They've been cleaning up. The viewer yesterday with 18 months of checks, folks, that's not $18,000. It's a lot more money when it's 18 checks. 18 months of checks is what viewers, our success stories have been on this channel, with viewers getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for several years from these incredible items. I've gotten viewers over $50 million. We're going to go over all these incredible sums of money in the second half. What do? You go right in this video and become a member. Join LALATE, America's #3 most watched financial news channel, expanding dramatically with 2 new channels, LA2 and LA3, coming in just days. Go right in this video and join this channel. And in the second half of this video, we're going to go over all these incredible checks one at a time. Join this channel and get ready for the second half as we go over all that and more, and what you need to know as we go into the second half of this week. It's a big evening, it's a big night, it's a big month, and we're going to go over more about this money in the second half as LALATE continues this evening.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now in the big second half of Evenings LA. Hope you're having a beautiful night across the board. That CPI surged out of control last week, and we are far from over with inflation growing. That's big news for your benefits. We're going to go over more about that incredible lift of your benefits in this big second half. But first, let's go over those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You deserve this money. And we're going to go over all these incredible sums of money, starting right now. A series of checks, you qualify, and you want to get them right tonight. You don't want to wait. Did you become a member? I hope you did. Go under this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Get those incredible sums of money, which we're going to go over starting right now. A series of executive actions came to law in the month of March. At the same time, viewers are saying, LA, find me some checks. Build Back Better Act was not getting done. Viewers wanted checks, and they understood to get checks when times are good. Don't wait till times are bad. And I found them. A series of executive action, the checks, and they're huge, about $100,000. Big sums of money. You need it because we're going to have 2 years of recession with this channel. Number 2, it's important to understand that you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits, if you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, go out and learn about these incredible checks. And finally, this is federal stimulus from the federal government. There's lots of checks in every state. In the membership newsletter, you can see 12 to 20 checks per state. That's what you got to do. Go get these incredible checks. Let's go over all these incredible details starting right now. The first check is the incredible Check A. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, go get this incredible check. $6,500 for stimulus. It's called the Weatherizing Grant Check. And how do you get it? Step 1, go under this video and become a member. Then get that incredible membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, for members who join this channel, delivered by the member alerts from YouTube. Go down to that membership alert till you find Check A. There it is. Click the link and you go right in and apply. It sends you to the nationwide website. Then you choose your state. Then you choose the Weatherizing Grant and you pounce and you get that incredible check. But you're not going to stop there yet. You're going to go get Check B, a $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Go get it. How do you get it? You know the routine. First, go under this video and subscribe. Then go down and become a member. Join the channel Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Go to where you see Check B and pounce. It's called the homeowner's check. And get that incredible sums of money. Look what we've done. That's $100,000 right there. $12,000 approximately for Check A, $80,000 for Check B. That's $100,000 right there. But you're not going to stop. Nope, you're going to go get Check C. Check C is a wonderful, huge sum of money. It's lots of checks. It's upwards of nearly a handful plus of checks. And it's for rent, utilities, mortgages, and more. It's been around since third stimulus. It's the residue of third stimulus. Viewers have averaged about $45,000. A lot have gotten over $100,000. Many have gotten $2,000 a month over 12 months as well. How do you get the wonderful Check C? You go under this video, subscribe. Go under the video and become a member. Join the channel and go right down to Check C. It tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. There you go. Incredible sums of monies. And that Check C success stories date back to the earliest days of this channel because we've been doing Check C's for a very, very long time. Here's a series of examples of success stories from Check C. They start with Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth. 20,000 all the way up to 27,000. This is just a sample of the many success stories. You want this for rent? Go get Check C. Do you want these numbers for utilities? Like Mark's brother-in-law getting 15,000. Go get Check C. There's Mark at 6,500. Snap, the same brother-in-law is getting $250,000 over 10 years. Combination. Lots of different checks, yes. Nisi went from 23,000 to 50,000. Mark went from 32,000 to 166,000. How did he do it? He went from 32 to 50. Here's 50. Then he went to 100. Then he got Check B at 66,000. Amen. That's 166. Lorraine went from 105 to 155. Incredible. What's the commonality of those three viewers, whether it's Margaret, Johnny, Lorraine, Nisi, or others? First, they watch all the videos on this channel. They know where the economy is and where it's going at a single moment. Why is that so important? Because you got to get the money right immediately as quickly as you can. And if you see this economy heading into a tailspin of a major recession, you got to get the money right across the board. They're in all the live chats. They're watching all the videos. To learn more about this economy 24/7, go under this video and subscribe to LALATE 3, the brand new third channel coming to this family within just less than 2 weeks from now. It'll detail this economy on a 24-hour, 7 days a week live basis. It'll also feature lots of cooking shows. Meantime, want to know all the stimulus that's happening by the minute, by the hour, anything new we learned? That's why you subscribe to the brand new LALATE 2, the second channel join this family. To subscribe to LALATE 2, it's under this video. Niecy, Lorraine, Johnny, and Margaret, they watch all the videos and they absolutely know what happens. If you've been in the video, if you're on the live chat right now, post your success story, whether it's $100 or $200, $200 or $200,000, inspires other people. Because we are here to be positive, to inspire other people. As that viewer got that 18 months of checks, that's what we do on this family. Let's recap what you need to do. Number 1, go into the video and subscribe. Subscribe to LALATE 1, which you're currently watching. Number 2, go under the video and become a member. Join this channel, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP member. Then hit that bell at the front of this channel to make sure all notifications are set to all on. Then get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and go right in and apply for those incredible checks. You want to look at the newsletter with me right together right now? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's jump at that incredible newsletter and go through how this works starting right now. The membership newsletter is delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. Know your time zone and adjust it accordingly. Here's the YouTube alert. This it is. It tells you here's a brand new alert about the brand new newsletter. You go down and it says click and view post. You go right in and get these sums of money. You deserve them. You get them across the board. The newsletter is so simple. As longtime viewer said, Carol said, you do it so well and so simply, LA. It's so straightforward to follow. Want to watch that together? Let's do it again one more time. That's the newsletter. Number 1, you want to go on this video and join the channel. Then remember what time zone you're in. The newsletter is delivered 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're the East Coast, it's 10 o'clock. If you're Central, it's 9. Adjust accordingly. Next, via YouTube alerts. Do you receive YouTube alerts via email? Well, let me show you what it looks by email. The title is for new members only, new LA post, and there's the body. See the 4 mailboxes, LA newsletter today? So simple. Go down in that alert. You see the word view post. When you see the word view post, click the link and it sends you right into the membership newsletter and you're ready to pounce. Join the hundreds that join daily on this channel and get this incredible sums of money. Know where this economy is and where it's going. You need to prepare accordingly and get these big sums of money tonight. Do not wait. Across the board, it's all yours. Go get it and get it quickly. Get these incredible sums of money tonight. What do you need to know about what's happening in the next 90 days? The next 90 days, a lot of things at issue. Your benefits are going to be determined upon this equation, the CPI-W from July to September. Social Security, when looking back in May, before inflation was tracking higher, as we saw last week, thought that your benefits are going up 8%. Not anymore. Inflation hasn't settled down. Why? Because of gasoline. Next 90 days, gasoline is going to go high and stay high. CPI is going to continue to go high. And the Federal Reserve is going to certainly raise those interest rates at the next FOMC meeting. This graphic is nearly 2 months ago. And how accurate was I again? I was. Employment has not gotten better. Gas prices are not curbed on an international basis yet, and interest rates continue to go higher. Mortgage rates continue to surge, recessionary winds are picking up, and the price of goods are growing as well. Part of this economy involves pivoting accordingly. If you don't pivot accordingly, then what happens to you? Let's go over that part of the equation starting right now. It's an economy in which examples of people not pivoting well is manifest in the home builders. A lot of analysts, a series of new reports that home builders are really not pivoted well. They didn't realize, or they were simply wearing rose-colored glasses, thinking that if mortgage rates are making it harder to afford a home, will the buyer still show up? Logic would tell you no, they didn't pivot accordingly. They did not drop the price of the homes quick enough, and now the inventory is growing. The mortgage rates are getting worse. The applications for mortgage rates are dropping, and that's causing the bubble of the housing market to get closer to bursting. Over on the stock market, the crypto, the same thing is happening as well. Stock market falls about 48% in a recession. We're currently in it. And people were quick to say, oh, we're done with this fall. Excuse me, we just started the recession. The recession was confirmed by the Atlanta Fed GDP now in June. So we're just 19, 21 days into a confirmed recession. The official announcement, of course, coming from the Department of Labor, perhaps at the time this broadcast airs. But Americans were quick to say, hey, we're at the bottom of the stock market. No, you're not. You got another 20% down. How long will this recession go on? More about that in a second. But basically, you can't think that it's all good and then let's turn over to your money. It's all that troubling behaviorism. We see that in the analyst reports. Analysts talking about rampant spending this summer with people going into debt to buy concert tickets. The price of car purchases looking like home purchases because the loans on cars are so expensive. Rampant spending because the value of the dollar is actually worse now and the cost to borrow is a lot higher. And why is that big trouble? It's big trouble because there will be no one to bail you out in that regard. Unemployment stimulus of 2020 is gone. PUA, which gave you unemployment stimulus if you're an independent contractor, no longer law. So if you're laid off at an independent contractor, there's nothing to claim benefits on. FPUC, that $600 a week that would go on top of your existing benefits, gone. So the original normal UI, very small check for a lot of people, $100, is back. It ain't going to pay the bills. PUC, that would give you those extra weeks of benefits from 2020, is no longer law. So if you exhaust weeks of benefits, I can't help you. What I can help you is get you the big four stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Off to Build Back Better Act now. Build Back Better Act got really fascinating this week as Joe Manchin signaled he wants to call the vote. But not on exactly the Build Back Better Act he wants to call the vote on the Build Back Better bill number 1. Excuse me? Yes, there's currently in his mind 2 Build Back Better Acts, a first and a second bill. And he wants the vote on the first one happening right now this month. Let me explain the dynamic. The Build Back Better Act was originally a $3 trillion bill when it was passed by the House, sent to the Senate. In the Senate, there's been negotiations for several months between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. The negotiations have gone well, they say. Those two individuals have publicly confirmed the negotiations have gone well. The price tag likely much smaller, 1.5 approximately. But in recent days, the negotiations got really good when Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin agreed upon prescription medication, cheaper prescription medication. Such a good situation that the two of them sent it off to the Senate parliamentarian. She's a nonpartisan individual who looks at the provision to determine whether it belongs in the reconciliation process. And if she says yes, which potentially could come tomorrow, then it's set up for a vote. You can call the vote because everything she has done has passed the bird bath. Well, there you go. Looking good, doesn't it? Well, here's where it gets interesting. One of the provisions has not been agreed upon, at least, and that is climate. A lot of climate. And Joe Manchin's position, publicly and privately to Chuck Schumer, is the following. We've done a great job. We've been negotiating massive parts of this bill. It's done. The only parts that are not done are the ones that are climate. You have 2 options. Leave the whole thing for September, or do what we've done now and agreed upon and call for a recon and get it voted and done right now. Procedurally, let me explain the significances. The reconciliations in Chuck Schumer's back pocket are robust. He has a lot of saved up recons. So he absolutely has the ability to do one recon this month and another recon in September. He absolutely has the votes for it as well. Is there anything negative in splitting the 2 items? Well, climate agenda people would say no because they would say yes because they think that climate will fall apart if you leave it out and try to do it in September, and that eventually they think Manchin will back out and not do it at all. But for our purposes, which is not climate, it makes perfect sense doing what's in the Build Back Better Act and now getting it done. The question is what part of the Build Back Better Act is in Part 1 and in Part 2. Presuming that everything is in Build Back Better Act 1, with the exception of climate, which is in 2, then this makes total sense to call the vote. Even if it does not include all the parts of Build Back Better Act in Part 1, it still makes sense to call the vote because you could supplement it with Build Back Better Act 2 in September. Basically, get money today and get more money thereafter. That's how I teach it on this channel. Let's go over the provisions. $15,000 to $80,000 of stimulus checks in there when the act was at $3 trillion. With the first add-on of $25,000 for the purchase of your first home, $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities, all those provisions would have likely survived. In that first cluster, hazard pay, one more year of the earned income tax credit, $4,000 of care for elders, $4,000 for young children's care, the CTC, nutrition, all likely has survived. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle may not survive. I don't like the provision, never have. Why? Because it basically is giving a tax deduction to people who are paying $100,000 for an electric vehicle. If you can afford a $100,000 electric vehicle, why do you need a tax deduction on it? Then let's go to that second cluster. In that second cluster, nothing is likely to survive. Why? Home repairs has been removed. It's Check A. We just went over it. It's Check A. It's law done by executive action earlier this year. And then pay leave is a very anti-Joe Manchin provision, not likely to survive. In that third cluster, everything seems to have survived. Dental, vision, hearing, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, vision, and more. For there you go. That's the Build Back Better Act. I support the idea of calling the vote on Build Back Better Act Part 1 now and doing another Build Back Better Act in September. Why not? It just makes more sense across the board. The housing data continues to erode, and next week we'll have more housing data additionally. Tomorrow we'll see more about this economy in the recession numbers from banks, from businesses, and the analysis across the board. The corporate earnings we've seen in the last few days signal that recession is not equally dispersed, meaning some industries have gone in recession before others, and other industries are taking a little bit of time to go into them. In the employment situation, we're seeing the causes of that recessionary pressure on labor starting to hit. That's what one bank said yesterday. Validating my reporting for several months, that bank said, you're going to start to really see the implications, the hurt of the recession on the economy and the consumer starting in September. Where are we right now? We're in phase 1. The recession is already in phase 1. It was supposed to be in phase 3. It's in phase 1. I said for several weeks that the hurt would be phase 3, but the financial cliff would be in phase 2. Financial cliff would manifest itself with soaring in unemployment numbers. Well, we got a lot of weeks in September, folks, and we're already at 251. Major layoffs, corporate freezes, hiring freezes, things like that, and also concerns that inflation and other elements like housing have not improved. That is likely what's going to be in phase 2 manifest with that financial cliff. What do? You get as much money as you can. You raise your savings by getting as much stimulus as you can. You remove your adjustable rate debt. What is that? That is car loans. Anything where the debt has an adjustable rate. We absolutely know that in the next 90 days, Jay Powell is going to raise rates. The Federal Reserve does not meet in August. They meet in July and then in September. 75 or 100 basis points this month. And then September, well, folks, you know it ain't going to be quarter basis point. Meantime, let's go over to student loan debt forgiveness. One viewer had a great question about that. Automatic and with a deadline, not inherently a deadline. The President of the United States is likely in the next few days of this month announce his executive action to forgive student loan debt in the final chapter. He previously forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, people who went to work in the nonprofit or public sector after graduation, and people whose debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. The latest step would be $10,000 across the board for individuals who make $150,000 or less. Inherent deadline of October? No, because he can extend the deadline across the board. Not particularly clear why he's waiting on the subject matter. And here's a twist tonight, which you may have thought about. I didn't realize it's just the sentence of the video. I've been saying for nearly 2 months that I said he was going to wait to July to do this with a whole table of legislators around him signing this into law, because this has been a very big subject matter for a long time. And I said he was not going to do it in August because they have the August recess where the Congress leaves town. I say he's going to do it in July. Well, now that the president has contracted COVID, when would he do that with all of them signing around the table, unless it's a virtual signature? The question mark is, when would he do that? Hopefully, he doesn't wait for the press op of the signature. He just does it virtually with them on a screen applauding the moment. Tonight, there's a lot of money for you to get, and that lot of money is there. I got to be very frank with you. This economy is shortening, slowing, weakening faster than even I projected. Here's what's happening. Spring of last year, I said that this economy was going to have an 8% inflationary rate in December, and not temporary, or a fancy word, transitory. At the time, the Federal Reserve and Wall Street said 3 to 4% and temporary. They were wrong. Then, when the numbers shot to 8%, I said it was not going to go down. That was going to still be persistent. I also said the Federal Reserve has a dual mandate to get price stability, get inflation under control, and to have maximum employment. And that by raising interest rates, he's not going to get inflation down, because it's caused by gasoline prices going higher. They're not affected by interest rate. And supply chain disruption. They're not affected by interest rates. Well, it's now 7 months later, and everything I've recorded has been correct. Inflation has not gone down. Federal Reserve has raised rates, and now he has unemployment surging, interest rates surging, and inflation surging. Nothing has worked from the Federal Reserve. When does the wake-up call happen? A lot of people have always said that inflation will be solved when we're deeply in recession. We're not deeply in recession yet. We're going to see that in months to come. Here's what you need to know, is that there's a lot to know in this economy. You need to know your stimulus and where that money is on a regular basis. A lot of viewers really take interest in every negotiation of Bernie, Chuck, Nancy, and everyone involved in the equation. That's exactly what's coming to LA2 in just days from now. LA2 will feature 24/7 stimulus with live broadcasts, every negotiated element, every luncheon, every dot of the I and cross of the T. It's all your stimulus, all your geopolitical, congressional news on the hour, by the hour. It'll also feature the return of Javita Late, Sirloin, and Blaine 66, and your favorite shows like Halcino, Tier 2, and also Javita Late, with new seasons, and then brand new shows like Seriously, starring Sirloin. Over on LA3, you need to watch that channel because it's all about this economy, the recession, the inflation, the housing market, the unemployment. You need to know where this economy is and where it's going. That's 24/7 on LA3, coming within days. And also, a lot of deliciousness. Bacon, well, not so much. Banana bread, maybe. Barbecue, absolutely. Brussels sprouts, you know it. And sugar-free chocolate cake, of course. Lots of deliciousness. You will be gluten-free, vegetarian, no, but you'll be everything else except a San Francisco hairstyle. We'll get it all covered on the 3 channels. And guess what? Have you seen the new twist? Yeah, you have. LA Live is now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. LA Live, which you may be watching right now, is a live feed updated throughout the day with the latest on what's happening from Wall Street to Main Street and your money. Jump into LA Live at any hour of the day, and it's a live breaking news feed updated throughout the day. And finally, yes, LALATE, the original website, launched nearly 20 years ago, has been revamped. It is revamped with now coverage daily, no less than a handful of stories daily, breaking news stories about inflation, recession, housing, labor, and more. Jump on to LALATE.com to read the latest breaking news from America's leading financial news site. And with that, become a member. This is the channel you've always wanted. This is the family you've always wanted. Whether it's existing home sales, whether it's the CPI, whether it's a raise of your benefits, whether it's today's labor numbers, there's always something you need to know across the board. And when it happens, I have it here for you. Go under this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. Get these incredible checks. You deserve these sums of money. Don't wait, because the stimulus stampede will be happening. We all know that. Get those incredible stimulus checks right now. Join this channel. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. And from the shores of Santa Monica, California, good evening. Have a beautiful night. The programming continues throughout the night and into the new morning. And stay with LALATE for more.